Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to FanZcene. Greg here, and today I have you Comic Book the Movie, a story of a bygone era. So I've been in a little bit of mood here lately, watching some old like comic book stuff and stuff like that. Just been a little nostalgia for some reasons. And this came back out in 2002. It's a mockumentary, stars and written directed by Mark Hamill, and it also stars a lot of your favorite voice actors in live action here. Like it also stars Jess Harnell here, who's the cameraman for this mockumentary, who's the voice actor for Wacko and multiple other cartoons, and also stars Tom Kenny, the voice actor of SpongeBob, and also stars Billy West. That's right, Billy West, who is Fry from Futurama. It stars Pearl the Whale, Fairly Odd Parents voice actors, just like Harley Quinn voice actor, sprinkled like every voice actor in working in all your favorite cartoons and nerd stuff. They're all in this movie as actors, right? They're acting, but they're not all actors. But and it also it's peppered with cameos with Kevin Smith, Stan Lee, Hugh Hefner, Bruce Campbell, which is funny because some of these people we've lost, some of these people we don't like anymore in the nerd culture world, and I'll get into some of that as I explain a little bit about this movie. Like with Mark Hamill himself, and some of these people, are just still very cool people. And it also stars Donna D'Erica from Baywatch as well too. She's hot. And some of the stuff they do in this, Mark Hamill, I guarantee you, Mark Hamill would not even do today. He would be offended by some of the stuff he makes in this movie. Oh, how dare they do sexualize a woman or something? I think he would. I really do think he would. But and also since I'm a huge nerd, a comic book nerd and stuff like that, and a physical media guy, the point of this movie, this mockumentary, this fake documentary was it was meant to be a special feature on the DVD release of a superhero movie that they're going to be making in this mockumentary. And Mark Hamill's character, whose name is Donald Swan, he's a high school teacher, and he's a huge fan of this comic book character, Commander Courage. It's his all-time favorite character that he grew up with, right? He made a fanzine about it, a fanzine magazine about it, and Hollywood has decided to make his favorite character into a movie, but it's not going to be called Commander Courage. It's going to be called Codename Courage. It's going to be a darker, more grittier version of fighting terrorists, and not so much the golden age of comic book, very similar to Captain America, Superman, Batman, and all those comic book characters from today. It's kind of an amalgamation of the golden era of those type of comic books, a little more mostly Captain America as I was watching this, and so they hire Don Swan here, the movie studio, to try to get, since he's the most popular voice of this character, he makes fanzine, he's very well known, which is funny in today's day and age with all of us who do YouTube and stuff like this. I don't think the studios would do what they do for him in this movie, but they do it for certain people. They pay him to do certain, watch certain things and give good things. But like what they decided to do is they decided to give Don here a camera crew to explain a little bit about Commander Courage, and then how they get to Codename Courage, and for him to give his thumb up approval for Codename Courage. Sorry, excuse me. Say all that 5 times fast. And what he's going to do in this movie is he's going to fight against the studio and take his documentary crew that he's going. He's going to interview people like Kevin Smith, Stan Lee, and all these people, and they go film an actual Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con in 2002. So there's real footage from the Comic-Con from 2002 in San Diego. It's like a snapshot of that era, with all these people there and everything, and they film actual in the convention and around people and everything. And they all people play along with believing that Commander Courage was a real character and all that and everything. It's really cool. It's really fun in that sense. It's very nerdy and very tough. And the whole point is Don wants to fight against the studio to show them why it's okay to stick with what was written before with Commander Courage and not making this dark, new, gritty. Sound familiar? Dark, gritty characters at studios who don't really understand comic books and just sort of trying to make money and everything. And I sort of have a theory myself that because I don't believe nerd culture should have ever went mainstream. And I think it all sort of started in 1999 with Star Wars, the Phantom Menace, even though I know most people don't like that now, but it made a lot of money. And then studios saw that, and a couple other nerd properties started coming out after that in 2001, 2002. And I think by 2002, especially with Spider-Man, which opened, and Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers and stuff, studios saw that a lot of money could be made with nerd properties. And so they were all, that's why we got this big boom of like the Fox X-Men movies, Daredevil, and all those movies, before. And it's really, really funny to watch this, to see, all these people. And I would say Kevin Smith in this movie is a real eye opener, because I know a lot of people got really upset with Kevin Smith with what he did with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and whatnot. I know a lot of people got the, but if you listen to Kevin Smith in this movie, he straight up, I mean, I think he's trying to play like a jerkier version of himself, but it really feels very much like what he became. And I feel sorry. I feel sad for that, because I always thought Kevin Smith was like one of us. And then Mark Hamill himself, like I said, like he's railing and fighting against these studios to prove that Commander Courage should be respected, and you should try to base it more off of this, and maybe make it a World War II period piece, Captain America, the First Avenger, right? And maybe stick to the classics and give the fans what they want, because fans know these characters, fans love these characters, fans grew up with these characters. We all have our favorite character. We all have our own vision of what our favorite character should look like, should be presented at in live action, who we want to play them, right? And what eras of comic books we want them to be based off of. And Hollywood at that time, they were just changing things and making them suitable for what they thought the audiences was. And so like Mark Hamill's fighting this good fight for us nerds, and you really get behind him, and you rally behind him, and you believe in what he's saying. And you see Mark Hamill now, especially after The Last Jedi, and how he's basically turned on all these fans. It's insane. It's, like a lot of people don't like Mark Hamill anymore for multiple reasons. And it's not really the same guy that is presenting this, because I really feel like when you're watching this is like a love letter. This Mark Hamill really was a fan. He was at some of the first San Diego Comic Cons before he became Luke Skywalker and all that. He is a nerd. He was, but now he's part of the system. And it's funny. It's funny to see that and hear that and know that in today's day and age. But I do still recommend this movie. I still think this is a really fun, great mockumentary of a movie. I think you guys, if you guys are a nerd and you want to like reminisce a little bit about comic books and where we were, because I think we've gone sort of like all this comic book stuff is circular, is secular and everything. Is because we've sort of went from this path of like these studios eventually getting these properties and wanting to make them darker and edgier, or change them to what they wanted you to believe that was best for them. And then Marvel came along, right? And they started their own studio, and to take back their comic books, to get these characters back under their control so they can control them, get them out there and present them to them as they're supposed to be, and well respected with Iron Man, right? Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. done so well, paid tribute to the comics, and was changed enough and everything was similar to the comics and made him a household name. And then we get later on in the Marvel movies, right? And they became so much more jokier, and Disney bought them, so now they're much more corporate. They're sort of back to like the studios trying to tell you how they should be, and they're using newer characters that most people don't like, right? And then with DC, you got the characters who became darker and edgier and not so much the comic book things. And now we're sort of back to a point with like Superman and even the Fantastic Four First Steps, which they become a little more comic booker, a little more brighter, a little more serious yet fun, a little more campier, right? And there's people fighting over that, over which movie was better nowadays. And so it's like this weird thing, and I think this really tapped into something. This documentary really tapped into something about that, and it's fun. It's funny to see what's happened with the nerd culture and everything. And I still don't to this day. I don't believe it should have went mainstream, but it's interesting moment in time of a lesson, a story that needs to be learned. But check it out if you've never seen Comic Book the Movie. I do recommend it. It's fun. You're not going to get a Blu-ray of it anytime soon. I don't think it may. It may or may not. This was shot on early digital cameras from that time. So, it wasn't on film. It was early digital cameras. I know, I think it's probably streaming somewhere, probably Tubi. You probably find it on Tubi. But I got the DVD. DVDs, I think, is still pretty cheap. So check it out if you've not seen it. And if you have seen it, or if I've inspired you to see it, or if you have any thoughts on any of this whole comic book thing, leave it in the comment section down below. If you liked what you saw here, maybe consider hitting that like button or subscribing, hitting that bell for notifications. That'd be awesome if you're on your guys' subscriptions, or possibly share the video out for everybody to see, or join and become a channel member, because that would help out my channel immensely. Thank you, and shout out to all my channel members. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for being channel members here and for all of your support. And to everybody watching, whether you like me, hated me, or like this video, or hated this video, I thank you for sticking this long. Wherever y'all are, please have a great, safe, happy, healthy day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Always support physical media, because it really truly is the superior format now more than ever. Godspeed.